Hello and welcome to part 2 of episode 1 of the Phodcast
With a PH.
with Lou and Con.
And if you didn't watch part 1,
Go do that now.
Go do that. But if not, why is it PH?
You should never find out.
You're not gonna know. There's a lot of mystery going on. But yes, go watch the other video.
And then come right back here.
I don't know if I can link it in the description, but if I can't, just go to our profile.
Yeah.
Little button. Click profile and it's our face. It's really not hard to miss. Thanks. What did you think of the tour?
I loved it. So I was very, very, very good, and I'm surprised that I managed it. I had no spoilers, and my show was one of the last shows. Oh my gosh, it was so worth it. It was so funny. It made you think. So clever. Dan and Phil are made to be on stage.
They like performing.
They love it. Dan's such a theatre kid. It's wonderful to see.
I am not strong. I could not. I was supposed to wait until January.
And what did you do instead?
But that was 6 months. I had to wait 6 months.
So what did you do?
I bought a ticket to one of the first shows. But I booked it like a week before. So I was like, I'd waited
at least crazy things.
3 months. I waited 3 months, and then I was like, what if?
You travelled to a different country, you guys.
Not far away. It wasn't like going to America. But it was a 2-hour flight. And I was like, what if? What would happen if I just went and
Yeah.
But like, because it was so close to the date, they discounted the leftover tickets. I was like,
it's basically free.
well, I mean, the flight is £45 for a return.
Yeah.
If I didn't take any extra bags. And I was like, a hotel can't be that much,
Yeah.
For one night between 2 people. It can't be that much.
No.
So a week until the show, we were like, fuck it. We're buying, we bought tickets, bought the whole trip was maybe £150 at most.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Because our actual ticket was £35.
Right.
Then the flight was $45, and then the hotel was only like $80, I think.
Oh,
which then split between us. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
But everything in Oslo is so expensive.
Really?
Why is Norway expensive? Maybe we should be addressing that.
Yes.
They don't have spray deodorant either.
What?
We went to every pharmacy. We went to every local convenience store. Nothing. We were like, we won't buy one at the airport. We'll buy one when we're in town. So no. There is. We ended up buying a roll-on to share between us.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
We were like, it'll be at most £5.
Yeah.
No, we got a roll-on. It was this big, like a little travel roll-on from a pharmacy, and it was £15. And I was like, why? Why is everything so expensive? So I was weak-willed, and I went to a different country.
Yeah. But Dan and Phil, this is what happens with Dan and Phil. I had my one show and I was like, it's fine. It's my meet and greet. I'm going to have a great time. And then I finished and I was with my friend, and my friend was like, I need to see it again. So we just booked the next day.
Because why not? Whereas then it got to January, and because I had planned to go with so many different people, I ended up having 5 shows in January.
Oh my gosh.
But it was one in Birmingham. 2 days later, I was in Cardiff. But between them, I had an exam.
It was a
Do
lot.
not, don't go Birmingham, arrive home at 5 a.m, have an exam that day, get home from your exam at midnight, and then get on a train to Cardiff. Don't recommend it.
I think the weekend before I saw Con, and then I saw him the weekend after, and I was like, "Have you slept?" And he was like, "No."
There is no time to sleep. University is just. But then it got to my meet and greet, because my meet and greet, I was like, I'm only gonna do the planned one.
Yes. Which was a big one. It was, yeah.
It was a big one. I was like, I'm
important.
giving them my dissertation. It'll all be fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I've met Dan before, but I've never met Phil. I need to meet Phil. Some point in my life, I need to meet Phil.
Yes.
So it was my birthday when the tickets went on sale. I bought myself a meet and greet. And then it was all fine. And then my friend from America was like, if I come over, do you want to watch the do you want to go see it together? And I was like, okay. And they wanted a meet and greet. But the meet and greet was sold out, so we got silver, which is the pre-show. So you get the benefits of meet and greet just without the meet and greet. So you still get like all the VIP stuff. And then just as we got our confirmation from the checkout, they released a third day, and we were like, well, we're already on the site.
Yeah.
So unlike everyone else who had to then go onto the site,
you were there.
we were like, we're already on it. We just refreshed the page and bam, and we got VIP.
Yeah.
Because then I was like, okay, cool. Now I can meet them with this other friend. Yes. So I did 3 days in a row. I did the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. With pre-show all 3 days.
Amazing.
Doing my part for the community though, I did fully record all 3 days. The pre-show. Not the main show.
Don't sue us, please.
Don't sue me for copyright. Thank you. I just recorded the pre-show, and I was like, really, like, I felt bad. I was like, turning around to the people behind me, like, I'm not in your way, am I? Like, I'm really sorry if I'm in your way. And they're like, no, don't worry, you're not in our way. And then one of the nights, I didn't have anyone sitting behind me, and I was like, thank fuck. I can just, record, not worry if I'm bothering anyone. And then I uploaded it to YouTube, and, it was all fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think, like I said, I was very grateful that I was so in the dark about it. But they did do a professional recording of my show, and I have seen myself in the trailer. And
I'm also definitely going to be in it.
And I do remember being like, it's horror show.
But the thing is, in the professional recording, you're in the dark.
This is true, but I'm just worried they're going to do audience shots.
But no, so the audience shots, the second night, I think that was the night you were there.
Yes.
I had a camera in my face.
Oh, yes.
As in, I was sat on the end of a row, and a camera was pointing at me for over half of the recording. Why? I don't need a camera. Like, genuinely, he was stood in line with the row in front of me, camera pointed at my face.
We're going to play how many of our friends can we find.
The issue is, because I was there for Friday and Saturday,
you're definitely going to be in it.
I'm definitely in it both days. But so there's a bit where it's not like a crowd interaction, but they go it through the crowd.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The issue is, both days, he went through the row directly in front of me.
Same. For my first show, and I had things in my face. It was a lot.
It was in my face. But that means, because the cameraman followed him,
yeah,
I'm going to be caught, not just caught on the camera, but if they've split it up and used different days for both sections of the audience, there's a chance that the camera's going to go past me, and then it's going to go past me again in another seat, and they'll be like, what the fuck is this? Like, is this no, I do not have a twin, I'm just, it's questionable. But this, the second day of filming, I was in a legalized Catboys jumper.
Yeah.
I didn't think hard about what I was going to wear. I was like, I need something.
I didn't know that they were going to record it until the day before when it was being recorded, and then I got to the meet and greet, and it was like, They were like, just to let you know, we are going to record it. If you don't like it, you can't be there. And I'm like,
It's-
well, I can't
yeah.
just not go.
They sent the emails going, by the way, your show's recorded. By entering the auditorium, you are consenting to being filmed on camera.
Yeah.
And they sent those emails a few hours before each show. I needed a more, like, we didn't know, we had suspicions that it would be recorded.
Yeah.
And we had suspicions that it would be those because, you know, people working on the tour were like, hey, any videographers in London? And we're like, cool, it's probably the London show's being recorded.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any solid confirmation that it was being recorded then. And so, because I was on the first day, we were stood in the queue, like everyone had already queued up. We were getting given our wristbands saying we're VIP. And then everyone's like, oh, we've all got an email suddenly saying it's been recorded. It's a bit late. We've got our wristbands. Everyone on the other day, like the second day, was fine because, you know, they had the warning from us.
No, but you say that. I didn't realise until I was there and I saw the sign and I was like,
But
oh my god, I'm being recorded.
Like, everyone who was filmed on Friday were like, shit. And so we just shared that it was being recorded.
Yeah.
All group chats we were in, everything. Just, by the way, it's being recorded this weekend.
My problem is that a lot of fannies like to wear dark clothing, which is fine. I wore a red and black stripy jumper and I am taller than average people. I am 5'8". So I'm quite noticeable because I am row 5 and everybody around me was really short.
Well, I was row 5, but both days I was wearing a light colour.
Yeah.
Why? Why was I was like, I need to wear this, like, I have to wear, like, something that's not going to be weird when I meet them for my dissertation. So I was like, because I'm taking a photo of my dissertation, like, it's going on LinkedIn, like, it needs to be so professional.
Yes.
So I just wore it like this, it was a light blue shirt with a little lion on the pocket.
Very cute.
Very cute. Very simple. I'm covered in tattoos. Every photo of, like, when I've been around them, I always identify me from seeing the tattoos.
Which is important because if you ever see the picture of Con and Phil together,
It's
sometimes I see his background and I think the person in the hat is Con, but it's
Yeah.
not, it's Phil.
other than our height difference. We're not the same height.
But it's like a quick glance.
But a quick glance, my camera roll gets confused. You know when it goes like suggested groups, and it puts us in the same category, and we're like, we are different people. Thank you. But so the first night of recording, I was in a blue shirt, my like short sleeves. My tattoos were on show the whole night of recording, and then the second day I'm wearing grey. Where am I meant to hide? I cannot hide.
No.
So it was, you know, it's gonna be. I've accepted that I'm gonna be in it.
Yeah, same.
But
And
it's-
we know that a lot of our friends will be in it, including one of our friends was part of the audience
But it's
interactions.
if they choose that night, because they could.
That's true.
They could go for the other night's recording. But I know the other night's recording person as well. So
Right. So
either way,
everyone's just been
we
put
will
on
not.
blast.
We will not get out alive.
No. My other problem, and this is not me being like, oh, YN, I was saying this the other day. So I have quite a distinctive laugh. During pre-show, Dan said something and I cackled and he went, that's an evil cackle. And I was like, oh dear. And then, because I was middle, and like I said, I was wearing stripes, and I am taller than other people, the entirety of the first act, I swear to God, Dan was looking at me and I was like, stop perceiving me. I'm processing this. I do not need you to perceive me every time I laugh. Leave me alone. It was so stressful.
It's a lot. But it's a good show. And I
It was
think,
very
like,
good.
it doesn't matter how many times you watch it, it's still a good show.
Yes, and I think because I was so shocked the first night, the second night I feel like I appreciated it more because, like, I really understood the humor more and, like, why they did certain bits and stuff like that. And it's such a clever show.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, the first time I saw it, I could, like, couldn't tell you half the things that happened. Maybe 5 minutes after watching it, I would be like, I could tell you maybe half the things. By the time we got to January, I'd forgotten 90% of the show. And then because of my meet and greet, I was like, fuck, I can't remember it.
No.
Because I was so focused on my meet and greet. And then I like having multiple shows was, I think, helpful.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, it's going to be one show and done, and then I was like, no. Like, I watched...
I know one of the pre-shows, they answered one of the questions I put in the box, and I was like, oh my god. And they did this thing where, so when they read it, they put them on the floor.
Yeah.
So they don't read it again. They didn't do that for my question.
Oh no.
So they read it out, they answered it, and then they put it back in the pile because they were just so focused on the next question, obviously. And then when they were sharing the questions, like Dan runs out of questions, so Phil gives him more. He accidentally got my question, and they were like, got halfway through the sentence before realizing it was like, they were like, what the fuck? We've already answered this. But instead of just going, we've already answered this, moving on, he started answering it again, and I was like, you cannot do this to me. So it was I was just doing fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, amazing.
Easy. With their baking.
Right.
So I did mug cakes, cinnamon rolls, and what was the other one? Cake pops.
Yes.
And originally, the answer was that they were going to fuck cake pops because, according to Dan, it's got a flared base. Bestie,
okay. Too much information, first of all.
Only if you're putting the stick in first and not the cake. But the cake will fall off the stick. That is not... It's not a flared base. No. Is it the easiest of the three options to go in your ass? Yes, but nobody said it had to go in your ass. We just said fuck, marry, kill. Like, it could have been anything.
Exactly.
You know? And then they were gonna marry the cinnamon rolls, I think it was. But then the second time we started answering it, he said he was gonna, like, Dan said he was gonna fuck the cinnamon rolls.
Oh.
No, he's gonna fuck mug cakes.
Okay.
Because they were so quick.
Yeah.
And
Girl.
he was like, it's a slutty bake.
Yeah.
And
true.
I get it. Mug cakes are a slutty bake.
Yeah. It's your favourite video.
It is my favourite video. I've watched it too many times. My YouTube rewind at the end of the year is going to be, why have you watched this video over 30 times in 1 month? Get over yourself. But like, why they did not need to read my question out twice and then change your answers.
Right. Fake.
Too much info. Too much info.
Yeah.
But so they've now done 3 joint tours.
Yes.
What are your favorite? Wait, like, how would you order them?
Okay, so I didn't go to Interactive Introvert, so I'm going to put that at the bottom because, like,
Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
So I can't really give an opinion, but so many people say that they just don't remember it.
It was a lot.
Yeah, and the clips that I've seen on TikTok, I'm like, what is this show? Like,
I
what?
have it on DVD.
We can watch it.
We'll find a DVD player.
I did go to Tatanov, and I've got pictures of me with whiskers on and everything. Like, it was a whole thing. And I remember Dill, which is their sim character, coming out. There was like a paper mache head of Dill Halter. I remember him coming out, and I remember their end song, The Insect Is Here, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to put that second, and then I mean, Terrible Influence was just such a good one. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but like,
this will be out before that is. See, I don't know if I'd do the same ranking because I didn't go to either of the first 2.
Yeah.
But I've seen both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think like the first one is probably like my top because of like nostalgia.
Yeah, valid. I mean, when I've watched like the reacting to it, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, like nostalgia wise, I think the top. Like, if I saw that tour now, would I still enjoy it? Kind of. I think
Yeah.
I would enjoy watching it, but it wouldn't be like amazing.
No.
But it was like, it is still really good. And then Interactive Introverts, when I watched it, I was like, there's so much happening. My brain doesn't know how to focus.
No.
Because it kept changing, like it changed. So all three tours have different segments of the show. But I feel like the way it was done, Introverts changed like quicker. Like there was more changes happening, but we did get Phil rapping.
This is true.
So
with one of
it's
the
very,
hardest
you know,
line ever. It's so good. I don't think I can say it on YouTube because
you see them electrocute each other for fun. You see them shooting things at each other.
Yep.
Dan nearly getting hit in the balls.
Yep.
It's, you know, there's so much. I think it's a very fun video. It's a very fun tour. It's just so much happened. It's so quick paced.
I also think that it's a little bit tarnished for me because Dan was done. Like this was like, so Interactive Introverts, the concept is giving.
I've gone out. I can edit.
Okay. The concept of Interactive Introverts is giving the people what they want, and it was because Dan was done with YouTube, so he was like, gonna do this one final tour and then done.
It's very bittersweet for that reason, though.
Yes, exactly. Which is why I'm like, like I said, I haven't watched it, but I feel like I would still rank it low just because we know what happens after.
The memories. But then, you know, Tit happened and they were like, you know, we did come back.
Yeah.
We weren't wanting to come back, but it happened one day.
Yes.
So I think, like...
But they're much happier now.
Now that they're out, I think because they were in the closet for so long and the fandom was toxic.
Oh my god, so toxic.
It's kind of like everybody's grown up, they've grown up, they're out as gay. There's no more like... There's not as much people trying to pry into their private life.
Yes.
And it's a better, like, environment for us and for them. And for that, like, this tour has just been so much better.
Yeah, it's great. And just like how natural everything is now. Because the thing with Daniel, and it's a credit to them, is they've always been able to match what their audience is. So, like, I would say, you know, when I was 12, the content they were giving out was for 12-year-olds.
Yes.
And then now, would I watch that content? Probably not. But, you know, I think...
The content has grown with the audience.
Exactly. And that's why I think they are so clever, is because they know who their audience is, what their audience wants, and, like, they will adapt their content subtly. But,
and
like,
I think it's why they've stayed so relevant for so long.
Exactly.
Like, Phil's channel being 18 years old.
It's
like,
crazy.
this year is 19. And, like, that's a long time to stay relevant. A lot of people, like, fade out after, like, 5 years.
Exactly.
So for them to stay relevant for that long, you know, they're clearly doing something right.
Yeah.
A lot of people can hate on it, and they can hate on Dan and Phil fans, and, you know, we deserve it.
Absolutely.
We really do deserve it.
Absolutely.
But I think, like, in general, overall, it's so much better now.
Yeah, and I think, of course, the hiatus was not a good time for fans, but it did separate. So they had their early years, and then they had their mainstream years where they were doing the Radio 1 show, they were doing presenting, they were doing everything, and that really put them in, like, the public eye. And now they've had their hiatus and they've come back. We are their audience, and I think that's helped them so much, because even you see, like, the way they speak, and this is going to sound very parasocial, and we might talk about parasocialism, but the way they talk to us versus interviewers is so interesting even now, because they have their boundaries, which is fantastic, and they have boundaries with us as well. But the difference between an interviewer asking them a question and us asking them the question, they're going to give us different answers because they trust us as their audience now, which I think is really lovely.
They're also not afraid to tell us off if we overstep.
Yeah, which is perfect.
But there's like a lot of like they're happy to play along with jokes.
Yes.
They'll joke with us.
Yeah.
We joke with them, and there is a mutual understanding that it is okay now.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like I think it's gone better.
But no, and they're very clever when there are jokes that they don't like. Like I think a big thing when they were closeted and kind of when they came out was a lot of, oh my god, they're touching. And then they made it their joke, and now we're like, whatever you touch, like. And there's
Nobody cares because we've grown up.
Exactly. And also they've desensitized us.
Yeah, to a lot of things. I think a lot of, if anybody watches any like recent video, they're going to be so confused.
Yeah.
And there's just so much lore to catch up on.
Exactly.
To understand things. That it's just like a lot of people are like, well, okay.
I think now because the core group is adult fans, it's kind of like a sacred thing of you've either grown up with it or you haven't. And while there are new fans, there is so much more, and they do talk about this in Terrible Influence Tour. That it's like a bond, like a sacred bond, and we've been through the wars with them and stuff like that, and now we've come out on the other side, and it's just very nice and very lovely.
Like I think it could be a bit intimidating to some people to be like, oh my god, this is a huge fan base, how am I going to get involved? But honestly, like Downfall Twitter, I only got involved with a year ago.
Same.
Like a lot of the adult fans that do watch them now, okay, they've been watching them for a long time, but we didn't talk to each other as much.
I was a Facebook fan.
Whereas I was like, I'm not talking to anyone. I was like, I will join in with like BuzzFeed quizzes.
Nice.
And I will do like fan fiction, and I'll join in those little quota quizzes that people would do.
Yes, I forgot about quotas. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I was like that, but I was a fan, but I was a fan on my own rather than a fan where I'm going and talking to other fans and interacting with people, because it was too stressful. I was like, no.
Yeah. I think I didn't really interact in online spaces. Yes, I was in like Facebook groups or whatever, but I'm 24, nearly 25, so I really grew up with like pop culture of the 2010s, and so there was lots of like fannies in my school, which is a rarity.
Yeah, there was like my school, it was just mostly Dan and Phil fans.
Yeah.
Like you could go to anyone in my school and they would have at least heard of them. Even if they didn't watch them, they would have heard of them.
Yeah.
And like even now, like the place I work now as an adult, and there's maybe like 3 people who haven't heard of Dan and Phil.
Oh yeah.
And other people are like, yeah, I watched them when I was younger, or I know who they are. I didn't watch them, but I know who they are. And like there's people in their 30s that are like, yeah, I know who Dan and Phil are.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's, they were so widespread that I think everybody kind of like got into it when we were younger. There's not really much need for being a fan online,
100%.
trying to like make friends online, because it wasn't needed.
Exactly. And it's interesting because they are so niche, and yet everyone, like if you say, oh, Dan and Phil, people will know who you're talking about. And again, that's a credit to them because they have this niche, and they have, they say you're either a nerd, a goth, or a gay, and that's in the fandom.
Girlies, the goths, and the geeks.
And the geeks, yeah.
3 Gs. Girlies, goths, geeks. Which are you?
Yeah.
Or the gays. The 4 Gs.
Yes. And so they do have that niche, but they do also have the ability to be mainstream if they wish to, which they have said very clearly that they don't want to be mainstream.
Well, the thing is, right, they say they don't want to be mainstream, and then the Sims 25-year anniversary came up, and they were like, yep, we'll be on the stream. Bitch, what are you talking about? You're going to be on the stream. You do not play The Sims. Well, they play The Sims, but they don't play The Sims, It's like someone being like, I play The Sims, all I do is create Sims, and I don't play the game, and I don't do build mode, I just make Sims.
Yeah.
And then going, yeah, I'll do the 25-hour stream for it because I play The Sims. No, you don't.
No.
You create Sims. You don't play The Sims. You just create the Sim. They do more than just create a Sim, obviously. There is a whole story
There's
for their
law.
Sims.
Again, there's law.
But, like, besties, they, like, lost the windows on the house and then forgot to put them on. They didn't even notice they were gone.
And then they punished us.
By going, we're going to put one window on so you can stop saying we've not put the windows back on. It was like, no.
Evil.
So it's, I think it's an interesting fandom.
Yes, definitely. And again, I think it is nice to be a fan in your 20s because you have that ability of not being chronically online, because you do have to do things like go to uni, go to work, live your life. And I think that's what makes it such a safer space than back in the day. And there is that ability now to create your friend groups and meet your friends. Like,
I think there's a lot of internal moderating as well. Like,
yes,
if things aren't okay, a lot of people are going to be quick to go, hey, by the way, that's not okay.
and that applies to fans and Dan and Phil, as we have learned.
Yes. And because that happens now, I think it's just a better place to be in general.
Exactly.
Like, if you've got a new fan and they're only like 14, obviously they're not going to understand some things are off topics.
Yes.
Some things aren't okay because they're a new fan.
Exactly.
And 15 years of joint law is a lot to catch up on. They're not going to know everything.
No.
But I think as long as people are respectful, and like there are people who go a bit far, but on the whole, people are respectful, and if they do make a genuine, honest mistake of like mentioning something that is not okay,
Yes.
people are like, hey, just so you know,
Yeah.
this isn't okay.
No.
So yeah, I think it's been alright
Yeah.
in the fandom.
Yeah.
Do we have internet safety? No. That skipped us.
Yeah. But that's Dan and Phil's fault.
Yeah. Because what do you mean? This man was, messaging a YouTuber he watched, and then he turned 18 and he got a reply on his birthday, and then bam, they were like 3 months later meeting in person. Like, babe, you don't know who this is. This is a random internet fan of your videos.
Exactly. And they also claim that we're the ones that go too far with like internet safety stuff. But then, so I think I mentioned the Manchester vlog earlier, and they literally filmed the outside of their apartment
In the vlog.
In the
And
vlog.
Not just that, but also in the Roblox video where they were going on, where people had made recreations of their first London apartment. And they were like, this is really accurate. Why have you stalked us? And we're like, you put your floor plan in your book.
Like, let's think.
It's not us being weird. Your whole floor plan.
You're giving us the content.
If you put a floor plan in a book, people are going to make an accurate floor plan in a game of your house.
Exactly. But now they are much more sensible.
They also started the PH thing. We
Thank
did not
you.
start that. That was Dan and Phil.
Yes.
And they're going, why? And we're like, you started it, not us.
Yeah.
Blaming us? No. You started that. I could yap quite a bit, honestly, about things that they blame us for that it's them, but it's fine. Not bitter at all.
No.
So I think, yeah.
So that is all for part 2 of episode 1 of the Phodcast with a PH. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
Or, if you only got 5 minutes in and you didn't see this message, fair enough, honestly. We also probably wouldn't listen to us yap for an hour.
Yes.
It's a long time.
It is a long time, so well done if you got to the end.
Here you go, a little heart.
Yeah.
Whatever heart, there you go. Heart.
Wait.
A heart. Have all the hearts. I don't know what you want from us.
And as they said, this is the most fun I've ever had.
I'm not pushing you back on these stools. We will die. But yes, bye.
Bye.
I was like, peace sign, wave. I don't know what I'm doing. Bye.